I believe, let me double check, equipment. I still have pittance, so yeah, I'm going to get to the wall and I'm going to use the pittance to make extra handholds if I need to.
Okay.
And I'm just going to try and go up and over.
So, give me strength athletics checks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see 3 successes before 3 failures.
What's the DC?
I'm gonna call the DC 13 because the wall is slick, but like I said, it's made to emulate stone, so there will be some handholds. It's also pretty easy to drive spikes into them. You can make the checks at advantage because you're using tools.
Oh, beautiful. That is still 1 failure. Yeah, let's do 2 blips to make that an automatic success.
Okay. That's 4 blips, not 2.
That's what I meant, sorry. That's another failure, so that's 2 fails.
You're rolling like crap.
That's a success.
Roll better.
This is the last one. Alright, made it.
It's difficult, but you get up and over this wall. And this curtain wall is enormous. I mean, it's taking you a good long time to climb up it. But you've chosen an area near to the gardens, which, like the galleries, doesn't have heavy traffic by servants.
Mm-hmm.
Adrex.
Is it? Oh, okay. Go for it. Sorry.
I need a strength saving throw. Wait, were you going with strength or con? I forget.
Strength.
Okay, strength saving throw. And Birdie, what's his DC?
16.
There
Oh.
you go. That is a 9.
All right. Let's get initiative from Adrex. Oh, you guys can place your own. I don't need to do anything. From Adrex, Windy, and Birdie.
I guess who's rolling really well.
Adrex, you're knocked prone, and your speed is 0 on your first turn.
Right.
I'm also going very low.
And Raazu, you were going directly to the queen?
Yeah.
Okay. Ubrid brings you to the throne room. And it's just as imposing as before. The large icy columns, the long blue carpet stretching up to the throne. The queen sitting in her chair waiting for you. And as you march forward, next to her, you see a small golden table set up, like a small circular table with some kind of basin sitting on it. From this distance, it looks like just a white-colored basin with kind of a granite texture to it. And as you approach the throne, well, how do you approach the throne? Let's start there.
I will take about 10 steps. I'll walk to about 10 steps away, and then bow. Say, I've returned my queen.
She stands. She holds out her arms, and she bids you to rise. She turns her head to one side, and you see one of her Mokden servants standing there, and he's clutching a sack in his hands. Mm-hmm. She nods to him once, and he steps forward and takes position next to her. And she turns back to you and says, I trust that you have completed the quest with which you were tasked.
I have. The wand is charged with magic, and it will do what it should.
And she asks that you produce it.
Raazu takes it out, presents it.
At that, she turns back to her servant and nods again. He steps forward, steps down to dais, and he upends this sack in front of you. And you see the head of the baker hag roll out through the carpet, land at your feet.
Raazu smiles a little bit.
God.
The hag's head snaps up, says, "You still hungry?"
Punt? No, I'm just kidding.
The servant holds out his hand to accept the wand.
Raazu passes it to the servant.
She says that she has meted out justice against the hag that bestowed a curse on you without due leave from her queen. In her jurisdiction, this is considered a great crime. She asks that you please wait and give her one moment while she verifies that the wand is indeed charged.
Mm-hmm.
She motions to the basin and says once that's done, if you drink deep from the contents of this bowl, you will find your curse will melt away. And at that, I need Raazu to roll initiative. And just go ahead and place yourself on the board up there. Is fine. I got a 4. Oh, my mouse is not working very well right now all of a sudden. I have a wireless mouse, and
Maybe your
it's like...
battery's dying.
It's not the battery, it's that it's so far away from the receptor because I'm sitting like across the room here.
I gotcha. I have a receiver, little port on my keyboard, so I just plug the receiver into that, and it's right there next to it.
Yeah, I don't have that. I mean, it's just a cheap $13 Amazon special. All right. Adrex, what were you expecting was going to happen when you came back to your friends to try to capture Wendy? Like, what were you anticipating would happen when you came into the room?
Walk into the room, say, "Hey, Wendy, I got to put you under arrest because you stole fire."
So you're going to anticipate coming into the room and having a conversation with Wendy about stealing fire? Okay.
Yes.
Raazu,
Hey.
the Snowbell Queen takes the wand, and you see she gestures with it. And immediately, an enormous tree erupts out of the floor, pushing the ice aside and shredding the carpet. And with this thing's enormous branches, you see them, for a moment, are following the movements of the wand as she's using it. But only for a few seconds. The branches then gather together, forming sharp spikes, and dart downwards at the queen, impaling her through the shoulders, the chest, one of her upper legs, and half of her mask is shattered off the side of her face, and you see her bleeding thick red blood.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
And you can see her through the broken mask, her eye, the first time, snaps up at you, and you just see vengeance there. Also, this Moakton in the room hefts his spear because you've just assaulted his queen. Adrex, you're surprised because you were not expecting to walk into a trap.
Yes.
Failed the save, so you're laying prone on the floor, and you've got 0 speed. That brings us to Birdie.
I'm gonna run over and tie him up.
Okay, make a... There's no rope use skill. People always make fun of the rope use skill, but you know what?
Dude, they have rope use. Like, they have rules for this now in Xanathars. They did it, Brick.
Oh, they did.
Okay,
I'm not going to look up the book, though. Let's call this a sleight of hand check for now.
okay. Well, that's good for me.
It's not specifically sleight of hand, but...
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna use 2 blips and re-roll that.
Okay.
That's a little better. That's 16.
That's a 16. So, Adrex, your DC to break out of this rope, break free, is going to be 16.
What am I adding?
Well, you're not rolling anything yet. It's not your turn.
Okay.
Now it's Rasu's turn. So, Raazu, your situation is you're standing in the queen's room. She's been impaled through. It doesn't look like she can move at the moment. But you're not, the Moakton's completely surprised.
Raazu is very much shocked because she literally was not. She didn't expect that the tree spirit would spike the drink, as it were. But this is okay.
This is okay?
This is okay.
Okay.
Like the dog in the burning room says, this is fine.
This is fine.
Casey Green. I'm going to. Is there anything?
Oh my god, I never knew that was KC Green's cartoon, but that's totally his artwork.
Yep.
Oh my god, I never knew that until just now. And now I feel like an idiot.
Is there anybody in melee range?
Don't kill this Moakton.
No, nobody's in melee range.
Okay, then Raazu is backing the fuck up, double movement to get out of this room.
So you're gonna just hightail it down the
Well,
carpet?
later.
Well, wait.
Leg it.
Yeah, no, actually, legging it is best plan.
So if you dash this turn and next turn, and nothing else happens, you'll be clear of this room.
Nope, I'm out of there.
Yep.
Can I ask something real quick, Brick?
What's up?
Is this at the same point where I was, where I had the spear at the top of the curtain wall?
At this point, you were still climbing up the curtain wall.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's going to take you a good few minutes, at least.
Okay.
Like,
That brings us to Wendy.
I think we should, since he's tied up, I think we should make a break for the.
Well, I look at him tied up in this rope, and I'm pretty sure he can bust a rope. But he does have this very nice silver net on him. So I'm gonna net him with his own silver net.
He wasn't walking into the room holding the net. He says he was going to come in the room and talk to you about it. So I'm assuming he's not just holding out the net.
No.
Oh, I assumed you would be the kind of person who would hold the net.
But Raazu did leave you with manacles.
Yeah, I asked him. I asked him to see if he would be surprised or not, but he specifically said he came in to talk you down.
I think he can bust those manacles too, but I mean, I'll put him on there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is, manacles have a DC 20 instead of the 16. But then he has to do a 16 and a 20.
But here's the problem. We still got to get out of here with him.
We also still got to get the apples.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put the manacles on him,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna say to Birdie, oh shit, we're late. By now, Red's heading back to the Summer Queen with that scepter.
Adrex, you were right. They were totally going to steal that scepter.
Don't believe this.
The only way we can catch up is if we run towards the bridge right now.
We've got to stop him.
Not cool, guys. Not cool.
Adrix, I'm sorry that I put those manacles on you, but I gotta leave you here while we go stop Red. And I'm gonna run out of the room.
So, are you trying to convince Adrex that you're trying to stop Red from stealing the scepter?
No, I'm more just trying to convince Adrix that Red is going towards the bridge. I don't care if he sees through one level of this
Okay.
ruse. The second level is I want him to run after us towards the
Yes.
bridge.
Yeah,
That's the part.
Okay. And then you're out of the room?
Yeah, and then I'm booking. Basically, I told one very bad lie so that he wouldn't see the good lie.
Okay. Raazu,
Hey,
I need a dexterity saving throw.
that's probably not going to be good. I'm going to go ahead and blip that. A roll even worse. Fabulous. Raazu is
17 points of cold damage. As you're darting towards the door, the carpet in front of you suddenly splits wide open and a wall of ice forms up in front of you. And before you have a chance to stop yourself, I mean, you run headlong into it, and the ice encases around one of your feet. It only takes you but a second to wrench yourself free, but the pain in it, the cold, is incredible.
I am at 1 hit point.
Well,
Good news is now it's Adrix's turn. So you have to. Adrix, I'm so sorry. I want you to know I'm not doing this to you. Okay? I have to follow the rules. So you have to break a DC 16 rope, and you have to break a DC 20's manacles. Whichever one you choose first, I'm going to impose disadvantage because you're being hindered by the other one.
Can't I just get up and give chase?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
He's just tied. He's just gonna get up and run with his.
I mean, Birdie's still in the room. Birdie hasn't left yet.
Oh, well, no. In that case, I'm going to try to break the rope.
I'm gonna kick him.
Try to break the rope. Okay, it's going to be a strength athletics. DC is 20 at disadvantage.
Well, Isn't
The rope is 16.
I thought
The rope is 16. The manacles are 20.
Yeah, I said the rope, didn't I?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just stupid. Yeah, DC 16 at disadvantage.
Do I want to blip that? I might.
No! What? What's wrong with you?
He's charmed, man. Elves are great.
Oh,
So we're blipping that?
No.
Okay. So I mean, you managed to kind of get up on one arm, but you just can't get yourself free. Birdie, it looks like you did a pretty good job with the rope. You still do have half your movement though, so you can run with this rope bound around you and your hands manacled behind your back.
You get hot.
No, he's gonna glare menacingly at Birdie.
And Birdie, what do you do?
I leave and run. I wave at him and then run towards the gardens.
All right,
After.
Raazu, I've got good news and bad news.
okay.
The bad news is there's a giant. How high is this wall?
I'll be right back.
10-foot high wall in front of you, stretching most of the distance across. It's 60 feet wide, which is not quite the width of this entire hall. The good news is she didn't kill you.
Yeah, but the problem is,
Break down the wall.
So you'd have to
Go
move
up and
30
over
feet
it.
to get to either side of this wall.
I could probably go up and over it though. American
How's
Gladiator
the
style.
ceiling?
Yeah, you could get up and over it. It would take you, I'm going to call it 30 feet of movement to get to the top of the wall because it's a perfectly slick ice wall.
Okay.
Unless you have climbing gear that you can use.
I don't have climbing gear.
Okay.
Why would anyone carry climbing gear?
No, you
Well,
wouldn't.
I have it, but I don't have the time to hammer pittons in and such, unless you're willing to give that to me.
Well, the way it works is you have, it takes, climbing a wall basically counts as difficult terrain, but this is an especially difficult slippery wall.
Okay.
So what would take 20 feet of movement is going to take 30 just because it's a little more difficult to get up.
Okay, well, I do have the climbing gear, though.
Okay.
So that includes boot spikes, which might make it easier and might not be hard to kick on real quick.
Well, she did specifically buy
Yeah,
boots for movement across ice and snow. I'd count that.
this is true. This
Okay.
is true. So, yeah, I'm going to go up and over. Up and
Okay.
over the wall.
Since you have the specific gear, we'll say that it's a plus. We'll call it a +5. So you get up with 5 feet of movement left.
Okay.
I'm back.
So now you're standing at the
And
top of
then-
this ice wall.
And then I'm going to drop down the other side.
Well,
What? Wait, what? What do you...
Okay, you drop down the other side. And now what?
Keep booking out of the room.
Okay, 30 more feet towards the exit. At
Yep.
this point, the room is starting to become more and more white as you see snow flurries kicking up from out of all the corners. You see the pillars, these enormous pillars on all sides of the hall, a dozen of which you walked past to get to the throne, beginning to just melt away. And the material that makes them up is comprising these ferocious ice flurries. At that moment, though, you hear the door to the room kicked in, and you hear someone yell out, "Raazu, drop to the ground!"
Hit the deck.
You hit the deck. Well, you can use your dash to move towards the door, or you can hit the deck. One of the two.
I'm going to hit the deck because someone told me to hit the deck, so...
Okay. You hit the deck, and a bevy of flaming arrows comes firing over your head. And you hear, as they hit this icy wall behind you.
how was that military training?
Adrex,
Yes, sir.
go ahead and repeat that check at disadvantage, and just tell me how many rolls it takes you to get it. Red, about this time, you're getting to the top of the curtain wall.
Now, was the curtain wall patrolled normally from my observations before?
You don't think so because it's so enormous that from up here, if there's any kind of weather, you don't have very good visibility anyway, and any guards would be precluded from carrying light. And now that you're up here, like, you don't see any mechanism to climb down into the wall. It looks just like a solid chunk of ice.
Excellent. I will take out my horn of silent alarm.
Okay.
I will blow it such that only Windy can hear it, and then I will begin my descent with my climbing kit.
Okay. So, Windy, where are you dashing after leaving Adrex?
I'm going towards the gardens. I came here to get those apples.
Okay. About the time you get to the gardens, you hear the horn of silent alarm blaring from pretty much the direction you're running, because he went to the wall on the other side of the gardens.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna keep heading that way.
And Birdie, where are you headed?
I'm right after him. Her. I'm
Okay.
going there too. Gonna dig up soil and get me some bark. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's going to be good stuff.
Gonna dig a hole.
If we pull this off, I will be just. My mind will
No
be
thanks to
blown.
Adrex.
If we pull this off and Atrix is still alive at the end, my mind will be.
Raazu, a second volley of fiery arrows come flying across the room over your head. What's your goal from here? Just clamber out of the room?
Get out of the room. Who's shooting all these arrows?
As you get to the door, you see Ubrid standing there, and she has about 6 of the Mokden soldiers, each of them with bows. She's holding a lit torch. She hands it to you.
Raazu grabs the torch.
She says that there are friends waiting on the other side of the moat to the south. They've safeguarded the passage back to the hedge.
Good. Because things just got weird.
Oh, really? Not things are heating up.
Oh,
Nodal. No, that would be if you were there. Okay? Like this is Raazu. Raazu doesn't have the shades and isn't doing the CSI thing. Come on now. That's not her style.
Red, how are you getting down the curtain wall?
I've got a climbing kit.
You're just going to climb
and
down?
mittens and rope.
Okay.
Yep. And on this side of the wall, I can take my time. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay.
Because hopefully Windy understands that I blew that to know where I am going. My plan is to climb down the wall, make my way across the frozen moat, blow it one more time so only Windy can hear it, and then head towards the path, towards the hedge.
Adrex,
yes.
how long did it take you to break the rope?
6.
6?
I tie a good knot.
You struggle with this rope, and it's not that he tied a good knot. I mean, it was an okay knot. Let's not run him down. He still definitely deserves to be in a pie. It's just that your hands are restricted. You don't have the full range of movement that would be required. But after about a minute of struggling, you manage to break the rope, and then in short order, you wrench yourself free of these manacles. Where are you going?
How in control of his faculties is Adrex?
Completely, unless you are trying to steal something from the Snowbell Queen. At this moment, the last thing that happened was Windy loudly proclaimed that she was headed towards the bridge.
Oh, then yeah, we should go to the bridge.
So you're going to head down towards the bridge?
Yeah.
Windy
So,
would
yeah,
never
that-
lie to me, says Adrex.
Well, that and I got to make sure that Windy is arrested appropriately.
Okay, Windy and Birdie.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask one of you a very important question.
Okay.
The two of you have to decide which one's going to answer it.
Okay. Oh, there's no way I'm not going to answer this question.
You're
I'm
going to
really
answer
good
it?
at answering questions.
Let's hear what the question is first.
You don't get to hear the question first. You have to decide
Oh.
first, and then I'll
Well,
ask
go
the
ahead.
question.
Wendy got there. Wendy's ahead of me anyway, so.
Oh, he's definitely going to punish whoever asks this whoever answers this question. So
Of course.
I'm jumping on this bomb for you, buddy.
Okay.
What do you got for me, Brick?
On this grenade.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds. And during that 10 seconds, you tell me what you're taking from the gardens. Go.
All right, I'm taking clippings from the tree. I'm taking the roots. I'm taking the apples. I'm taking some of the leaves. I'm taking some of the bark. I'm taking
That's it.
some soil.
That soil's too late. I got
I can't take the roots without the soil.
Apparently you can, because you said roots first. You got clippings, a sample of the roots. You pull an apple out from the branch. You grab a couple of the leaves. Birdie, you chip away some of the bark. And that's it. At that point, you're out of time. Guards, loyal to the queen, start storming into the gardens. How did the two of you manage to escape? What's your plan from here?
I think we head towards the wall. That's where
Up and
Red
over the
Blue-
wall. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to climb up and over the wall?
Did he
How
leave
high
his,
is the wall?
The current wall, like 90, 100 feet high.
did
Yeah,
he leave his
it's just-
Titans?
I have buttons.
He's left some in the wall.
Yeah, there's already a path,
He
actually.
left.
I have
I'm
my
gonna
own
start
buttons,
10
and you're extremely carryable.
I'm
Okay.
gonna mark 10 Titans off my sheet, actually. Because you're right, I would have left those in the wall.
Windy, let's get 3 successes before 3 failures. And I'm not going to allow you to roll disadvantage or at advantage because you say you're carrying Birdie. He's not heavy, but he's still bulky. I mean, he's a kobold in all of his gear.
All right. And these are athletics checks?
Strength athletics, yes.
All right, this is going to go real bad, you guys.
Can Birdie not just climb himself?
Yeah. Like I would literally just climb myself.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna steal you.
Then-
If you're trying to climb.
Then both of you have... You can make these strength athletic checks at advantage. I need 3
Okay.
successes before 3 failures.
What is the DC?
The DC, we set it at 13.
All right. All right.
Adrex,
Yes, sir.
you get out to the front, and you see the drawbridge has been lowered. And there's a group of maybe 20 Moakton or so standing here. Most of them holding spears, all of them wearing tabards of the queen. And when you come out alone, one of them stands and looks at you, and in very badly broken common, asks, "Where are your friends? The Lady Ubrid, did she make it?"
Adrex runs by all of them,
Okay. So you just dash across the drawbridge out onto the road.
dashes across the drawbridge, says in equally bad common for no good reason. Sorry, can't talk. Chasing somebody.
He's just running across like, yeah, ching chong, bing bong, buddy. See you later.
Windy from the top of the wall sees him running across the bridge. Goes, man, that was a good lie.
You actually don't because you're extremely far away. You're the entire other direction. Adrex, how far are you running out on this path?
Until it seems like it's futile, and just realize that, like, hey,
Well, okay, I guess my question is, how long is that gonna take? Because Adrex has the stamina run for miles, so
110% Matrix.
He just
Yeah.
makes it to the hedge. He's just like, wait a minute.
he gets all the way back to his Serafall. He's drinking coffee. Like, wait a minute.
I think maybe I overran it a little.
Are you guys both up this wall?
Yes.
Yeah. I got 2 successes, 2 failures, and managed to roll a 13.
Nice.
I got two failures and then rolled 3 successes. So
Windy pulls herself to the top of this wall, just absolutely winded, just totally.
I hate climbing. Why can't I fly? This sucks.
Guess what? Now you gotta climb down the other side.
I swear to God, if I jump, I could jump. I could just jump it.
100 feet.
Raazu, after a few more moments, 2 of these archers break away and begin rushing with you and Ubrid.
Raazu tells the others something had one of the queen's lieutenants. She's charmed my Dragonborn friend, so we may have to incapacitate him.
Hubert informs you that only about 20 or so of the older Moakton here were amenable to leaving the Queen's realm. The rest are loyal to the Queen.
Unfortunately, we don't have the time to deal with.
She tells you that they're going to head south into the woods towards the hedge, that she's arranged for assistance to cover your exit.
Good. We need it.
And by the time you come out the front of the palace, out onto the drawbridge, you see the 20 Moakton she was talking about.
Call out to the Moakton. Did you see my friend, the Dragonborn friend?
And she relays that message in Sylvan. And they have a brief conversation. She turns and said, the Dragonborn ran across the bridge into the woods.
Okay, we need to get him, and needs to be subdued. So, and again, yeah.
At this, she
One
turns
of the
back into the
lieutenants.
keep. And she yells something. And the drawbridge begins to raise up as you see another contingent of Moakton guards running towards it. And then she tells you to be swift.
Yep. 60 feet per round.
Red, you get down to the base of the wall. I mean, it was an exhausting climb both ways. And you get down to the bottom and you're catching your breath and you hear echoing far up above you, "Why does climbing suck so much?"
You people do this all the time? Why don't you just fly?
And Red will just smile to himself and kind of fall back against the wall a few inches and just take a few moments to rest. Take a look at this scepter spear thing.
And right now you can't even tell it's a scepter because it's inside the glamour of this lance, but you feel it, and it feels very, very cold. Like having your hand against very cold metal. And after another 10 minutes or so, Windy and Birdie descend the wall. And they're absolutely out of breath.
Birdie falls face first in the snow to rest a minute.
Plonk.
Wendy hops off the wall 2/3 of the way down, sick of climbing.
Was waiting for that to happen. Alright, so we're on the other side of the castle, but I think we can circle around. What happened with Adrex?
Hopefully he's running across the bridge right about now.
That was a couple of days' journey.
Well, he's very fast.
Oh, Raazu's not there with you guys. She's with the rest of the Moakton.
Birdie gets up out of the snow and says, "We better go. They're
Yeah.
still chasing us."
I don't think they're going to want to climb that wall.
Which of the three of you has the worst stealth?
Oh, you put all the stealthy people in one group.
Yeah, it's probably me, but even my worst stealth is really good.
I mean, I didn't put you guys in any kind of group. You put you guys there.
like,
so,
I
Windy,
have a +7.
go ahead and make that stealth check, Windy.
Yeah.
You're making a stealth check for the group, essentially.
Yeah, +7's worse than mine.
Hey!
21?
By the time you guys come circling around the... I mean, getting across the moat is no problem. It's frozen. You just kind of skate across and climb up the other side. Windy complains about more climbing, but... By the time you're coming up the other side, you start to see contingents of these smoked-in soldiers circling on either side. You manage to evade their gaze as you come around the south edge of the castle. By the time you get there, the drawbridge is already raised, and you see enormous amounts of very hurried tracks leading down the path to the south.
So we have to somehow get across here without the drawbridge?
No, we already crossed it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You cross the moat where you descended the curtain wall and crossed the moat right there.
Oh, okay, got it.
And let me think here. Birdie, you can't see in the dark anymore, can you?
No.
Alright, I'll go about 30 feet ahead of you guys. If I whistle, it means get off the path because we're about to run into the soldiers. We'll try and just catch up with them and not get caught.
Alternately,
Alright.
we could just leg it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Adrex,
Yeah.
You run for a fair amount of time until you hear a shrill whistle above you.
Stop. Look at the whistle.
Look at the whistle, and you see dangling from the tree, holding by one of his claws, one of the mouse people. Roll initiative.
Oh. Crap.
Those guys rule.
Roll high. That's pretty good.
All right.
How'd you do?
16.
16? You beat him. So he's holding this tree with one hand, and in his other hand, he's levying a crossbow down at you. But you beat him on initiative.
Adrex holds his hands up. Says, hey, I'm not coming for you. I'm worried about you.
But otherwise, no action?
No action, yeah.
All right, I've got a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. That's a 14.
Take 1 point of piercing damage. I guess.
If you
You
want.
hear the twang from his, or don't, I guess it's not going to matter. You hear the twang from his crossbow, and you feel it penetrate deep into your armor. It kind of knocks you backwards for a little bit. Then you hear screaming in your head, and you just watch as this mouse guy clambers up the tree, and you fall down to your knees on the path trying to catch your breath.
Ooh.
And with each breath, you can feel the influence of Lurvana slipping away more and more.
Ah.
What do you do with this
Wow.
bolt sticking out of your chest?
Let's pull the bolt out, man.
It feels really slick. Presumably from blood when you pull it out. And it's made of wood, but you can't tell what the tip is made of. You open your hand, and the thing kind of melts away in your hand. And you're holding a handful of maggots.
Ew, ew, ew.
You have been shot by the crossbow of Dippic, the anti-Cupid.
Wow. I don't think anybody has anything can process that. That's wild.
And about the time that your head is becoming fully clear, the pain is starting to evaporate. You've washed your hands off in the snow. You hear marching behind you. And looking back, you can see the shapes of a couple of dozen creatures coming down the path.
Adrex tries to hide.
So, Raazu, you and Ubrid and the rest of the Moakton come down the path. Adric's just standing in front of a white tree, really still.
Raazu points at Ajax. There he is. Get him.
No, 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 don't.
How much of an elf expert are you?
I know why you're asking that. Still really good, but I don't want to arrest anybody.
Okay, good. All right,
That's-
we don't have to lock him. We don't have to lock him in irons. Let's go.
That's
Move.
what somebody who was trying to arrest us would say.
Yeah, you have to tell us if you're a cop.
So you don't do anything horrible to Adrix? He's had a bad enough day?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Wendy runs by Adrix and slaps him on the side of the head as she runs by.
What's that for?
Are we even there yet?
Not yet, no.
I thought we were catching up with them.
No, at this point, you guys still have a fair bit of travel. They left way before you did.
Oh, okay.
You'll catch up with them when they camp for the night, most likely.
I'll slap him later.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pending.
It's pending.
So that evening,
Not pending.
I mean, they have set up camp off the side of the road, and that's when the remaining three of you catch up with them. and you have had a harrowing journey and a marvelous escape from the clutches of the Snowbell Queen.
I mean,
We did a pretty good job.
I got the rod. Did you get the apple?
Well, I got the apple and I got a bunch of other stuff, but I was thinking, man, I'm as strong as Adrex, so I pulled the root directly out of the ground without touching any of it, any of the dirt.
Didn't get any of the soil.
Didn't get any of it. No.
Oh, well.
Well, hopefully it's enough.
Hopefully.
Anyone have any
hopefully
idea how to make this not look like a spear coming on my back?
And even as you say that, I mean, holding it out, you can see the glamour starting to fade.
Okay.
Just leaving behind this blue icy scepter.
At least not Lurvana. The sister wasn't fed false information to try and ferret out traitors.
So the goal at this point is to travel back across the bridge
Yes.
through the dungeon or up over the top.
That might not be.
What does Lurvana think we should do? She's the one who actually knows the place.
Well, Lurvana is the elf lady. She's not the.
No, not Lurvana. What's the name of the
Yeah, I was blanking on it too.
I thought you were sarcastically asking that of Adrex.
That would be good though. I should have done that. You're right. Let's go ahead and retcon it to that.
Ubrid has not been across the bridge into the hedge, and she will defer to your judgment.
Well, there's two frost giants stationed in the fortress along
Were they
the way.
working for the queen or for the princess?
The queen.
The queen.
Well, they're frost
And-
giants.
Do we think they have a chance to have gotten word of our
Well, they were specifically stationed there because you guys tried to cross that bridge one time.
I mean, you've got the scepter now. Maybe you're their god.
maybe?
Well, they're meant to stop us from traveling into the hedge, right? Maybe if we.
No, I think they're.
No, they're meant to stop
into the
us from traveling into the ice.
I mean, yeah, it was crossing from the hedge, but we're not going that way. We might be able to bust through.
Ubrid tells you if it comes to violence, these are some of the most valorous of the Moakton guards.
I'd rather not risk any lives unnecessarily. I think we could probably try to risk sneaking back through the other way, unless.
Yeah, let's move. I think moving across the bottom is better.
Okay. And the plan is just to hand the scepter over to Princess Dandelion, correct?
In exchange, like, I think we should hash out a deal first.
Yeah.
What do we want?
We want
We
our
want-
stuff back, and
We want to
wanna
get back
go home.
across the Vale. We want to bring the Moakton back across the Vale. We would like to get our gifts back. Is that it?
Handing the scepter. Okay, you know we can actually give. I have Princess Dandelion's castle still ready to go. I guess I should have put the Queen's castle back up for that scene, but we're staring at this forest map for so long now.
It's a good map.
Change of scenery.
Gotten a lot of mileage out of that map.
Yeah.
Look at all those dice.
In giving the scepter back to Princess Dandelion, I mean, she is overjoyed. She is beside herself. And as she takes hold of it, the scepter, the ice melts away. The blue coloration turns to green. And you see flowers and leaves spring from it. And it no longer looks like metal, but wood. And she tells you for doing this great service, she will give each of you one boon. So let's just go down the list. What does Birdie ask for?
Birdie wants his dark vision back, and enhanced if possible. If that's not too much, yeah.
Oh, we're getting greedy now.
Yeah, let's get greedy. I want my vision. I want my dark vision back, but like better.
She says something about pies.
I'll just take the dark vision back. Thank you very much.
Edgar is now tied up in my headphones cord.
Yep.
How did you manage that at all?
Maybe you should cook him into a pie.
Oh my goodness. What does Adrex ask for?
Can we consult each other on this?
The princess might think that's kind of rude.
Don't do it.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
Yeah, Adrex would like his breath weapon back.
What does Raazu ask for?
See, I'm trying to think of the best way to word this, but I mean, because if everybody's asking for their own boons back, that leaves Raazu with having to try to get the Moakton and get passage out of here.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You could ask for something else. We just turn this into a Feywild campaign now.
You could just ask for passage for all of us back.
Yeah, I mean, but what about the Moakton that are stuck here in...
Josiah had told you that she wouldn't want them. They are ugly creatures.
Like, did the Moakton get to ask for anything since they helped?
No, they didn't do anything. As far as... And Josiah said as much. As far as she's concerned, they're just the filthy servants of her sister.
Raazu humbly asks for two things. First, passage for all of us out of the Feywild and back across the Vale, and ownership of all of the Moakton in your...
And she clasps her hands together with glee, and she tells you that if you take those disgusting creatures back across the Vale, you would be doing her yet another service.
I am most happy to do this for you.
What does Red ask for?
You know, honestly, message, I can subtly get things across easily enough on my own. How about reading minds?
So mechanically, what are we looking for here?
Detect thoughts.
Detect
Place
thoughts.
my cantrip. The once per day, probably, or whatever that would come out to.
Is Detect Thoughts a cantrip?
No. Is it just a boon of equal value?
That's a second level spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it'd be like once per day as opposed to the other one, which is per rest.
We'll come back to Red. What does Windy ask for?
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I really want to be able to fly again.
Okay.
I was
that's
sitting
a third
here.
level spell.
I was sitting here thinking one of these assholes is gonna say, "I want Windy's ability to fly."
She's able to return all of your gifts, and she's able to send you back across the Vale. Red, she is inclined to give you what you ask for, but it will take her time to prepare. It will mean spending another couple of days in her court.
Red has no problem with that.
We're never getting out of this Feywild. Oh my god.
Go looking for any elves.
Me, no.
More pixies can buy, and they summon 5 different elementals now.
Pixies can get in more pixies.
All right. I'm going to do my adding up on this end here.
I
Add up
cannot
some...
believe we pulled that bullshit off.
It's almost like I had a whole page of notes for planning your guys' escape and what might happen and what obstacles there might be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go dark for a second while I do some math over here. You guys talk about your blips, and we'll be right back.
All right. Who is the most creative today?
I was laughing because there was a part of me that said Adrex should ask to be queen of the Feywild. But I figured Adrex had enough shenanigans for today.
So who's the most creative today?
Let's come back to that. Intangibles goes to Adrex for being charmed.
Yeah. I'm gonna back that one up.
Oh, I wanted to give it to Windy, and I don't remember why.
Intangible reasons.
It was something that was just outrageously.
Who furthered the party's goals today?
Windy for drowning you.
I was actually pretty good at acting against our companions because I drowned Raazu and that was really good, and then I lied to Adrex and that worked out well for everyone.
Who's a badass today?
Gosh.
Gorsh.
Red for just up and just grabbing that thing and walking, I guess.
He's like, you guys take care of Adrix. I'm just gonna go out.
I'm just going to go
I
do
did enjoy the clarification. To be thinking like I'm just stabbed through the heart by this big spear. Yep. All right. Well, who cares?
Okay.
Going anyway.
Do we still have to do creative?
We do.
I guess.
Feel free to speak up for yourselves.
Yeah, I guess putting the trap down to stop Adrix and incapacitate him, because I'm not going to get that for being at a bad time.
Well, yeah, no, I'm down for that.
That
I'm
was
down
like
with that.
that's the first. I think that's the first time that a trap has actually helped.
Help the party.
Every other time I've just made situations worse.
Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing along, McDohl. I'm sorry that we did that to your character.
Whatever, he earned it.
Yeah. He's an expert on elves.
That's true.
Is that everything? Who did we end up with for party goals?
I think that was Wendy first drowning.
That's right, drowning,
Yeah.
yep.
All right. So I guess we just use the rest of this time to come up with our other blips. Thank you, Magic Tree Spirit, wherever you are.
Although it would have been fine if it would have been better if the Magic Tree Spirit had told us that was going to happen. Too bad you couldn't grab the wand on the way out.
I was at 1 hit point.
I probably would have went for the wand and died.
You would have died, yes. So better for Raazu to do this.
Nobody asked her for her hand in marriage. Such a lack of shenanigans.
Oh, God,
Princess
no.
Dandelion is terrible. I don't know if you noticed.
No, she's Queen Dandelion now.
Oh, right. Is it the Snowbell Princess and Queen Dandelion?
Yes.
Probably.
We'll have to ask Brick for clarification on that.
Clarification on what?
Is it now the Snowbell Princess and Queen Dandelion?
Are you
Or
going to
did
hang out in the Feywild long enough to find out?
Nope.
I particularly don't want to.
Red, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're turned over to one of the Queen's magicians. What they're going to have to do is essentially rip your lips off of your face and replace them with a different tattoo. You're assured that the process is painful, but ultimately harmless.
It seems fine. No, did I still have the tattoo after I lost my gift?
No, you did not.
Okay.
So, first of all,
I remember because Raazu was. Remember when we were
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to double check.
tripping out? Yeah.
I've got to go to immigrant.com. This is what your new tattoo looks like. It's going to be all stretched out and weird, but... Hooah! Okay, let's get rid of some of these. The shock of the pain of this procedure knocks you unconscious. and you have a vision
Move your things.
of that mercurial creature that you saw in the depths of the tomb, how it was being accosted by these claws of various shapes and sizes. You see a similar vision, except this time, one of the claws, which is green and wreathed in leaves, slashes out and cuts the neck of the small mercurial doll, who hunches down and stops moving. And when you wake up, you have the ability to use detect thoughts instead of message.
And that's for long rest, right?
No, it's going to cost 2 blips.
Okay.
You can use it as much as you want, provided you've got
But that
blips.
doesn't, and it doesn't
spend.
take a spellcasting slot?
It does. You just replace the one that you had with
Okay,
message
that's
with
cool.
this one instead.
What? I didn't have any slots associated to the boon, so
What do you mean?
whatever. Like the boons didn't cost slots, I thought.
They do.
Oh,
They
Well,
do.
what it is that you're able to learn up to 2 spells maximum,
yeah.
and you still have one that you can learn. Like you don't. I'm not making you retain message in a useless.
No, now I've got it now. I didn't realize message was using a slot.
Oh
Because
yes.
I think we came up with the slot system after we got the cantrips.
But you have a very strange feeling for a moment of loss, like you've lost some kind of connection with your companions. Although they are happy to see that the procedure went just fine. And then Princess Dandelion sends you all home.
Thought it was Queen Dandelion.
You're going to stick around to find
No.
out?
No, not really.
All right, let's give out some blips and stuff. Raazu, I gave you your flaw. I'll take any advantage I can if it will aid my allies regardless of consequences. I would say that marching into the Snowbell Queen's throne room alone with no backup certainly qualifies. Do you want to make an argument for any of the other ones?
I'd say good and evil are subjective distinctions. What matters is keeping to your own ethic. She very specifically asked for ownership of the Moakton rather than just asking them to be released.
So you walked up and you're like, we've killed 1,000,000 orcs because slavery is abhorrent, but they're pigs, so it's okay.
Raazu has never expressed the idea that slavery is abhorrent.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's your...
She just
Alignment.
gets outvoted.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Windy,
Yeah.
I gave you your ideal. Learning new things is never wasted for taking the effort to try to learn the charm that the mouse man put on you.
Yeah.
But that's it. What else you got for me?
All right. So I've got. Wait, how does that work? For the leading question of, so you just swim out across the lake, and immediately just saying yes. And I've got good is worth it of others. Out of your wasn't going to leave the plane without getting those apples. Like that was the whole point that she was there.
Okay.
Just going across and leaving on her own wasn't like that was pointless.
Getting your gifts back and escaping wouldn't have mattered if you didn't get the thing that was going to benefit this village.
Right.
Yeah.
Adrex, I gave you, even though it wasn't combat, I gave you energetic for flying through the woods. Nothing less than 110%. I also gave you your flaw. That sounds like a great idea. Also, make sure you mark down that you're holding that silver net.
Yeah, I'll do that.
What else you got for
Don't
me?
worry. I did not forget about that net.
Nah,
Nothing? Okay.
I think that's it. He was charmed, so.
Birdie,
like,
I
some
gave
of the
you
stuff fits, but no.
I gave you your flaw for, I think setting traps is a great idea, even when inappropriate. It's a little inappropriate setting a trap for your friend to bumble into, and then tying him up. What else you got for me?
That's right. He broke the manacles, so I had to get some more somewhere.
Everything for the advancement of the tribe. I was willing to leave Adrex there. I love Adrex like a big goofy brother, but like Birdie would have left him there for the bulk of everyone to survive.
If it came down to 5 of you escaping without
Yeah.
Adrex or none of you escaping,
It would, yeah. Birdie would leave the one behind because he's more concerned about the group as a whole versus any individual part.
even though he's your dragon brother from another mother.
Yeah, like, well, if it had been Birdie would have stayed behind.
Oh shit.
Red, I gave you your flaw. It's best to do what needs done. Explaining to others would be a waste of time. For your plan on escaping out over the wall instead of out front through the gate. You have anything else for me?
Yeah, I was gonna go for the ideal of cold hard logic in order to try and trick the charm spell into working for us instead of against us.
I mean,
My
it was
logic
worth a
was
try. I was having you roll against Lurvana's Arcana
because
check,
her spell
basically.
DC. Yeah.
So just the ideal?
I was also gonna say the philosophy. Yeah.
Okay. Blips, by the way, everybody's still level 5, yes?
Yep.
Okay, blips are still worth 250. We give 1 blip for the most creative solution this session.
I
That.
think the trap.
The trap.
Birdie's trap.
Birdie's trap was really good.
It actually helped this time.
I enjoyed
opposed
it.
to every other time.
We give 1 blip for the assist who furthered the party's goals the most this week.
That was that's Wendy for drowning Raazu.
That's a sentence that's probably never been said in D&D before. They really helped the party. How did they drowned the Paladin. It was
Yes.
amazing.
There was something else.
We give 1 blip for being a badass. Who was a badass?
We gave that to Red for after hearing that yes, absolutely everyone can still see the spear. Just anyway, like, well, whatever.
And
The
1 for
intangibles goes-
intangibles.
That's to Adrex for being just a delightful adversary.
A very cunning foe.
A dastardly and
I just
diabolical
really like
foe.
the idea of like walking in, trying like, well, we'll just have a nice conversation about this. I'm sure I can get her in this net.
It was devilish, delightfully devilish.
And it looks like Adrix also took our straw poll this week.
If you
I
did.
wonder why.
All right, everybody.
Yep.
1150 for that's experience points for destroying 2 undead wolf swarms.
That sucks. Undead wolf swarm.
Oh, I love this Tome of Beasts.
Screw
dude.
off, you butt.
Too many
During the
templates.
break, I glanced at their because I always type their stat blocks up in Notepad, but during the break I actually looked them up in the book again. Their Icy Doom is also supposed to confer a level of exhaustion, so I'm sorry that I forgot about that.
Boo.
Next time I'll
What
know.
level are these
Boo.
creatures?
They're CR6.
What?
I don't think they're very well. I don't think they balance this book very well.
I love this book. So Raazu, I've got you down for alignment, for flaw, and I gave you 1 blip for pulling off the heist. So you're taking 3. Windy, you've got alignment, ideal, flaw, assist, and 1 blip for the heist, so you're taking 5. Adrix is taking aspect, flaw, intangibles, the straw poll, 1 for pulling off the heist, and I'm throwing in a blip for role-playing that charm so amazingly. So you're taking 6. Birdie, you're taking ideal, flaw, creative, and 1 for the heist, so that's 4 for you. And Red is taking ideal, flaw, badass, and 1 for the heist, so that's 4 for you. And I'm going to assume, because I don't want to have to deal with this later, as part of downtime, you guys will figure out what this net does. Adrix, it is a +1 net there are rules for throwing a net in the PHB just before the weapons. They're actually pretty good. The magical property of this net is if you succeed on its hit roll against an avian creature, their speed is 0 until the net is removed or they break free from it.
Oh, that's super good.
Yeah, it is.
It'll work against basically anything that's a bird. So if Windy gets lippy, it's like,
I
hey,
literally can't. I have a beak.
okay, if Windy gets beaky. And I have one last question for you guys. You spent a decent amount of time in the Feywild.
Yeah,
And-
here it comes.
Nobody leaves the Feywild unchanged. So before we get going next week, this is your homework for this week, you have to let me know how the Feywild changed you during your time there.
I could tell you right now.
Can you?
Yeah.
Let me tell
Raazu-
you about
Oh. So Raazu was very much when she was faced with like a very ignoble death that wasn't going out in a blaze of glory and the fires of combat, etc., etc. Like she's like that sucks. I can't just die like that. I have to. So she might have a little bit of a hedonistic streak.
She will never turn down a glass of wine again.
Yeah, I'm grabbing one of the other sins, which is that Wendy went to the Feywild, had a bunch of super crazy adventures, stunned a bunch of ghost wolves, and came out of it with beautiful white feathers. So Wendy's goal is now like, okay, so we gotta help these other people, but I bet we could help them by providing an example, because we're really impressive.
So, okay, you're playing Mahogany again. We've gone back to just Eldov Mark III.
Did we get any other XP besides the 1150?
It didn't come to blows with Lurvana. You had better ideas than going toe-to-toe with the Snow Queen. So no, it's just the 1150 for the combat XP.
And blips. Blips are
250.
250. There it's
250. So
Can
you're
we
keeping
level
the...
if we're leveling?
Yeah, go ahead and level if you're able to. Wendy, you're
Okay,
keeping
you are?
you're keeping the wings.
Nice.
I'm keeping the what now?
The wings, the white coloration.
Oh, hell yeah.
Red, are you going to keep the snake dancy?
The
Nonsense.
snake, the laugh, yeah.
Okay. Works for me.
Raazu has shiny freckles.
So what we're going to do is, I'll let you guys think about it for the week. I'll get answers next week how the Feywild changed everybody. And then I'll work on actually putting down like a mechanical... some mechanical fallout that you can carry with these characters going forward. For you are essentially Fey-touched for all time now. And that's it. My dog is starting to get irritated.
Yeah, especially
so-
me and Adrex.
Yeah, you should probably untie that dog now.
Yeah, I'll just let him out of the pie.
Let me tell you about elves.
Wendy and Adrex are extremely Fey-touched.
All right, so looks like our next big adventure is going to be down in the Underdark. So
Exciting.
you guys haven't learned your lesson. All right, we'll be back next Sunday for more of this nonsense. Thanks, guys, for playing, and everybody
Yep.
for watching.
Yep.
Peace out.
Brick, I have a...